Hey girl, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing 3 high protein dinner recipes that are super nourishing, satisfying, and nutrient dense. As a registered dietitian, I love making balanced eating something that is realistic and enjoyable to help you feel your best and not restricted. All specific measurements can be found on my website at therecipeveggie.com. It's down below in the description box. I love making these high protein dinners during the week, and my boyfriend also loves eating them, which makes me really happy because I know he's getting in good nutrients too. Let me know in the comments which recipe you're most excited to try, and let's go ahead and get started. This is going to be my paprika spiced chicken thighs. We're gonna air fry them until the skin gets nice and crispy and the chicken is cooked thoroughly. And we're gonna pair that with some colorful carrots that are also roasted to perfection, so they're nice and caramelized. And for really great zest and freshness, we're gonna add a scallion labneh. And for a beautiful grain to accompany this dish, I'm going to be using a pearl couscous cooked in some chicken bone broth. This dish is packed full of the cozy flavors that I love when it gets colder. It's balanced, it's very nourishing. It has 35 grams of protein, high protein dinner, 5 grams of fiber. This is definitely a restaurant quality dish. I crave this throughout the week, and I'm gonna show you guys how to make it. First, we're gonna start on our chicken. I have bone-in chicken thighs with the skin on, and that's just what I prefer to use, but I have a pound of it. You can do boneless, you can do skinless, whatever your hearts prefer. But we're basically gonna start seasoning it with salt, pepper, and paprika. I absolutely love the flavor of paprika and chicken together, and the paprika gives it a nice color. I definitely go generous with the paprika. And just make sure you're mixing it evenly just so everything is coated. And then go ahead and spray your air fryer basket. I have a dual air fryer basket, so I have 2, and I am going to use one of them for the chicken thighs and one of them for the carrots. To place the chicken skin side down. Try not to overcrowd the pan, and I can only fit 3, but I will work in batches. Before putting that in the air fryer, I'm going to start on my carrots. I love using these rainbow baby carrots just because all these extra colors makes eating more exciting. It's more pleasing to the eye. But if you don't have rainbow baby carrots, you can just use normal ones. So in a clean bowl, I'm going to season these up with some olive oil, salt, pepper, and some cumin. And I love using cumin on vegetables. I think it just adds flavor to them. And again, add it to the air fryer basket. Cook both of these. Air fry it at 390 degrees until the carrots are soft and the chicken is cooked through thoroughly. For me, this took about 30 minutes. So while that's cooking, you want to start on your grain. I'm using my rice cooker, but you can also do this on the stove using the same measurements. But you're definitely going to have to babysit it in the oven, and this is why I just love my rice cooker, because it just makes cooking grains in batches way more easier. I am using pearl couscous, following the cooking directions on how much water to couscous I'm going to be needing. But I do love this hack of, instead of using water as my liquid, I am going to use bone broth, so it just adds extra protein to this. Even though 1 serving, so a 4th cup of cooked couscous, you already get 7 grams of protein and really great sources of iron. This is a whole grain, so you are still getting the added benefit of fiber. So even also in that 4th cup, you are getting 4 grams of dietary fiber, which is amazing for gut health and overall health in general, and also helps you keeping full and satisfied. So I'm cooking about 2 cups of this couscous, and I just love the texture of this pearl couscous. You'll see that once it is cooked all the way through, it just soaks up all the broth and liquid and becomes puffy and a fun texture to bite into. That's gonna take about 15 to 20 minutes to cook in the rice cooker, and in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and make my scallion labneh. So I'm taking some fresh scallions or green onions and some cilantro, and I'm going to chop those up, thinly slicing them as I go, using all of the whites and the greens. Nothing goes to waste here except for the root. And we're chopping up the cilantro with the stems, and we're gonna heat the olive oil, scallions, red pepper flakes, and cilantro in a small pot over medium-low heat. You're gonna want to cook this until it starts to sizzle, and you're gonna also hear it, and you'll see that the oil will kind of turn a bit more red because of the red pepper flakes. This was about the halfway mark, so this is where I flipped over my chicken thighs and I kind of shuffled the carrot basket. And go ahead and also stick a carrot with a fork just to see if the texture is okay for you. I really like mine cooked down so where they're really soft to the bite, but if you like them more crunchy, take them out wherever you see fit. Going back to the scallion mix, once it's done, you'll see that the cilantro and scallions have gotten softer and really infused in the oil. Remove that from the heat and get out your labneh. And I really love the texture of this. It's like whipped, it's soft, it's spreadable. So I'm adding that to a bowl and adding some freshly squeezed lemon juice. I'm using half a lemon here, mixing that a little bit before adding in that amazing cooked down scallions, cilantro, and red pepper flakes. And this, you guys, is seriously gonna give it such a great flavor. I literally could eat this by the spoonful. If you've been watching my channel, you know I'm a dip girl. I love sauce, I love dips. So this is just like so delicious. And you're gonna add some salt and pepper to taste. Give it a good final mix and you can set that aside and wait for everything to cook. And basically we're all done with the components and we're just waiting for everything to cook, and we're going to assemble our plate. I like to assemble my plate by starting off with the labneh dip, making it as fancy as I can be, and basically pretending like I'm at a restaurant. Then I'm gonna take my couscous, which you can see is just fluffy and very aromatic because of the chicken bone broth. And I'm just gonna layer that on top of the labneh dip. Our carrots are done, and this is how I really love my carrots. Even though maybe visually they look very wrinkled, I like them soft. I like them a little bit caramelized and burnt on the ends. And of course, I always like to use my balanced plate method, where you have about half your plate being vegetables. Then, of course, for protein, here are your finished chicken thighs. As you can see, it has great color from the cook time and the paprika. The chicken is perfectly cooked through at 165 degrees Fahrenheit. And there you have it. It's a beautiful, beautiful dish. This recipe, if you're smart about it, can be made within 30 minutes. It's a really fun recipe to treat yourself or have on a date night where you want to cook with someone, but it's not difficult that you have to pay attention to what you're doing. You really have some downtime to talk to the person, have a glass of wine, or fun non-alcoholic drink, and it really is the showstopper. So let's go ahead, guys, and give this a taste. This looks absolutely amazing. I love making this for dinners, especially for times that I really want a nourishing and cozy meal. And I love how it's hitting my protein goals and my fiber goals. I have a bite of a little bit of everything, because of course that's the best bite. This is literally restaurant quality. The labneh is so creamy and zesty and adds like a freshness to this dish, because everything else is pretty like warm and cozy. The carrots are cooked perfectly to my liking. I really like them soft, and the chicken is just juicy. It's crispy on the outside, super flavorful. I also love how versatile this recipe is, because you can really sub any vegetable that you have on hand or that you like. This would be really great with some zucchini, asparagus, broccoli, some Brussels sprouts. Really, sky's the limit. And the same thing with the grain. If you don't have any couscous on hand, you can really sub it with rice, quinoa, or even some flatbread or pita or naan would be really delicious, because then you can actually dip the bread and you can eat more of the labneh. And let me tell you, to put the scallions and red peppers and cook them down to add to the labneh is just taking this dish to a whole new level. And I love making those little hacks, I guess, in the kitchen as a home cook. I really love great quality foods, and I think just this extra layer of going above and beyond really makes this dish shine. I cannot wait for you to try this one. You're gonna love it. Next recipe is my absolute favorite chili recipe. Let me tell you, I didn't like chili beforehand, and this is the recipe that made me love chili. It is protein packed and veggie packed, and it's gonna supply us 32 grams of protein per serving and almost 9 grams of fiber. So it's definitely going to be nourishing and nutrient rich. You can easily make a big batch of it and meal prep it for the week and enjoy it throughout the week, so you don't have to cook as much whenever you're really busy. You can alter the spice level depending on how spicy or not spicy that you want it. And it's super versatile. It's basically made in one pot, so minimal cleanup. and it's just so delicious. I've literally made this recipe for friends and they always ask for the recipe. It's just that good. So I can't wait to show you guys how to make it. We're gonna start with chopping our vegetables that are going to be in the chili. We have some great, beautiful bell peppers that are really rich in vitamins and minerals, as well as onions and garlics that are classic flavors. When I'm chopping a lot of vegetables, I like to have a trash bin or a trash container or anything like a bowl to hold any of the discarded bits and pieces and skins from the veggies, so I don't have to keep on going back and forth with the trash can. It honestly just optimizes the whole kitchen experience and keeps things a little bit more organized and timely. And since we are working with a lot of veggies today, I'm putting all of the veggies that are chopped into a bowl so that I can have room to chop up more veggies. So we're gonna just dice up our onion, then we're peeling and chopping the garlic pretty finely, adding that to the bowl, and then we are going to clean out the bell peppers and dice them up. I'm choosing to do 3 just because I do love having a veggie rich chili. I know most chilies only call for about half or 1 bell pepper, but I like to just use all 3 because it comes in a 3-pack for me. And fun fact, the more red the bell pepper is, actually has different nutrients in it compared to the green. So I like to stick with more red or orange bell peppers just because I don't get as much of those colors in as much as I do in greens. And once you're done chopping, you want to place a large pot over medium-high heat, add in the oil, onion, garlic, bell peppers, and saute for 5 to 7 minutes, stirring frequently. Then add in your ground turkey. You can use whatever ground meat that you like. Sometimes I'll use ground turkey, sometimes I'll use ground beef, ground chicken, whatever you have on hand. But break up the meat as you cook and keep on cooking it until it is no longer pink. I want you to go ahead and season it. So add the chili powder, cumin, oregano, cayenne pepper if you're feeling like you want some extra kick, and some salt, and then stir that all together. Keep in mind, I really want you to taste your chili powder first or really question if it has a lot of heat to it. This one is a very mild chili powder, but I do know some chili powders really offer a big kick, so just experiment with it so you don't burn off your tongue. Once that's all combined, I want to start opening up all my canned goods, and there's quite a few of them. I have some canned diced tomatoes, an original flavor, and also a fire roasted flavor just to bring out more flavor. Dark red kidney beans. I'm using 2 cans of that, and I'm rinsing the beans just to get that liquid off and some excess sodium. And I want you to add all of that to the pot. Then if I already had chicken stock or broth package, then I would just add it in here, but I'm just using a chicken bouillon paste that I'm mixing with water and adding that to the pot. If you had a bone broth that you wanted to use, you can add that in here too. That's going to add extra protein and nutrients, but I just have this for today. Just give that a good mix. And then we're finally gonna add our frozen corn. You can do frozen, you could do fresh, you could do canned. I just prefer frozen just because it's easier to store and keeps longer in the freezer. Bring that mix to a boil and reduce the heat to a simmer and let it simmer for 30 to 45 minutes. This is gonna really let the flavors marinate and dance and adjust with each other. While that sits, I go ahead and start on my toppings. Now you can do whatever toppings you like. I like to keep things really simple, and I actually unfortunately forgot to buy some cheese, but I would definitely add some cheese in here because I love cheese. But I'm sticking with some fresh cilantro and avocado. Now at this point, my chili's about done, and I just want to taste and adjust any salt or seasonings, and that's about good. I decided that it needed just a little extra kick of everything, so I added just a little more of all the seasonings, and I thought that tasted amazing. The toppings take it to a whole new level. It adds like that freshness, the creaminess. I love this recipe because it's so versatile. You can put in whatever toppings or whatever mix-ins that you want or have on hand, but this will be a really good base for you to start. For toppings, I like to stick with avocado and cilantro, but I have also done cheese or tortilla chips on the side. I also love pairing this with like fresh toasted bread. It's just so delicious and so good. This literally tastes like a comfort food but it is so nutrient dense. It's rich in vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin K, folate, iron, which are all really important for immunity and bone health. There's also great sources of potassium, magnesium, zinc, which are all really great for your heart. I love it. You have to try it and tell me what you think. And finally, my next recipe is a good take on a classic comfort food for me. It's a Katsu pork with a cabbage slaw and a side of rice. To me, this just screams comfort, but the benefit of this is that we are just air frying it. We are not traditionally deep frying it, so it's just less oil, less mess, and overall we are adding more balance and nutrients by having a cabbage salad on the side. And cabbage is so great, it has a lot of good phytochemicals that help fight disease and help us feel our best. This recipe is 40 grams of protein per serving. Yes, 40 grams. And this is a really great at-home mindful option that you can make during the week. So I hope you guys enjoy. I originally wanted to film this recipe so long ago, but I got sick. I got a sinus infection and I'm still kind of recovering. So if my voice is a little bit shaky or I kind of sound a little snuffly, that's why. But I'm fighting through it and I really want to show you guys this recipe because I know it's so good. First thing you're gonna want to do is cook your rice. Again, I'm using my rice cooker because it's the fastest and most efficient way to cook rice for me, and I'm just following the instructions. How much rice to liquid ratio. This time, instead of using any bone broth, I'm sticking to just plain water. Rinsing my rice just until the water turns out clear. I honestly don't really measure my rice. I just use the Filipino finger test and it comes out perfectly every time. But if you don't know the Filipino finger test, just stick with the measurements. There's nothing wrong with the measurements. Put that to cook. And in the meantime, you're gonna want to preheat your air fryer to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And in a clean bowl, we're gonna start on our cabbage. So I'm using just packaged cabbage mix. It's already shredded and already sliced for me, so that's one extra step that I don't need to do, which makes this recipe super fast. I'm drizzling some lemon juice and some salt and pepper and mixing that together and setting that aside for now. And next, we're going to do our pork. So start off assembling your dredge station. So in order to do that, we're going to crack eggs in one bowl, beat them until they're all combined. And in one bowl, we're gonna have some breadcrumbs. I'm using panko breadcrumbs just because I really like the crisp and texture. Seasoning that with some salt and pepper. You can add in any more seasonings if you like, but I'm really keeping this simple since we're gonna pair it with a little sauce. And that's your dredge station. I like to assemble it in a line, so I first do my pork chops on the right, then my egg mixture, then the breadcrumbs, and then a clean plate where I'm gonna put the finished one. First, transfer your pork chops to the egg mix, making sure everything is coated. Tap off the excess, then transfer to the panko breadcrumb mix. I like to coat the top side and push down on it just so it can really stick to the pork. Flip and do the same thing and make sure all sides are coated. Shake off the excess and place on your clean plate. Repeat this until all the pork chops are done. Now you can really skip the clean plate if you don't want to do extra dishes and put it straight to your air fryer. And when you're finished coating, you'll have something like this. Spraying them with avocado oil or olive oil spray. Baking for 10 to 12 minutes or until cooked through and crispy, making sure to flip them halfway. And make sure you don't overcrowd the basket because that's going to prevent it from crisping up. So I like to work in batches. While that's cooking, you're gonna want to make your sauce. So this is a really easy classic sauce. First, we're starting with ketchup. I really like to buy no sugar added ketchup. You can't taste the difference without the added sugar, and it just helps decrease your total amount of added sugars in general. I don't know about you, but I don't want to put my added sugar content into just plain old ketchup. And your Worcestershire sauce, soy sauce, and honey. And mix that all together until you get a wonderful katsu sauce. And now we just wait till everything is cooked. And I like to assemble my plate by first starting with the rice, so that's going to act as our carbs. If you know me, you know I love the balanced plate method, so about a quarter of your plate should be coming from grains or those starchier carbs. Then I'm going to put my cabbage on the plate. I like about half my plate of colorful veggies, so I'm putting quite a bit of cabbage. And then of course our pork katsu. These are kind of small portions of pork, so I'm putting 2 just for show, but actually after I ate this, I really only ate about like 1.5. So of course, tailor the portion size according to your hunger, fullness cues, and your protein goals. And in a small little sauce dish on the side, I put our lovely sauce. And just for aesthetics and slightly taste, but you can't really taste it, I like to put some sesame seeds on top just to make it look pretty and more appetizing. And there you have it. This looks and smells amazing. I cannot wait to try it. This one bite is like calling me. The cabbage salad is such a fresh, crispy, zesty from the lemon juice, which brings a lot of lightness to the heaviness of like the sauce and the air fried battered pork. But everything goes so well. The rice is a good buffer to just have and enjoy with all the flavors in the sauce. Wow. Again, I love this dish because it's balanced, it's nourishing, and I know it's gonna keep me satisfied. And it only took less than 30 minutes. You have great sources of protein, vegetables, carbs, and flavor. I genuinely can't stop eating this. It's so good. You have to try this for yourself. And there you have it. You now have 3 high protein dinner recipes that you can enjoy and make at home. Let me know which one you're excited to try in the comments below. Check out my website, theroastedveggie.com, for the exact recipes. And before you go, I would love to have you join my Balanced Body community, where I have balanced eating guides that can help you eat more balanced, become a more mindful eater, and make peace with your relationship with food and body. That community also helps support me to keep on creating free content like this, and it's just more exclusive content. Every month we have movement and food challenges where winners get prizes like free personalized meal plans from me and grocery shopping gift cards. Being so for real, the group of women that are in here are so motivating and so uplifting, and the community really feels like a huge accountability partner. So I would love to see you in there. But anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!